So, I have talked for a couple of years now about wanting to start a YouTube channel, and I just never really pulled the trigger. I think I let my fears and maybe some of my novice of using a camera and that kind of stuff hold me back. And people always say it, the market is so saturated. There are so many great creators on YouTube and online in general, Instagram, Snapchat, even Vine, RIP, and probably in the future for Vine too. And, and Pinterest. I mean, I really couldn't sit here all day and talk about all the different platforms that creators and artists have found a way to use and showcase their talents to the world. And I don't know, I guess it feels somewhat narcissistic to throw my hat in there as well. But I don't know, I think I can't let go of how exciting that would be. And so to this year, 2018, I'm throwing my hat in the ring. I was inspired, I don't remember who it was, and if I remember, I will put them in the description, but I was inspired to do a video, about what I've learned in my 28th year of life. I turned 29 yesterday, and I think that those videos really inspire me, especially as transformative as the last few years of my life have been, and that I've been like an avid watcher of YouTube content. So, I should have planned out what I was going to say, but I am going to try to keep it pretty short and sweet, although I could probably go on for hours about what I've learned up to this point. But 2017, my 28th year of life, was the year that I started to go to therapy. My grandmother passed away a couple of years ago, and I had considered it ever since that moment, and never pulled the trigger. I think that I don't really know why I held back from it, but I finally bit the bullet this year and went, and I will never look back. It has been so good for me. It has helped me repair damage that I brought on myself for the most part, and restore confidence in myself and my decision making, and helped me to smooth out situations that were difficult to navigate in friendships and my marriage. I think I learned that my husband can still surprise me. I learned that I don't have to be friends with every nice person that crosses my path. I learned that, I think I relearned a lesson about priorities, and where, I still am practicing making priorities, and really I feel like it's something that you just have to work on every day, because I don't know that you're ever going to be in a place where your life's not changing, and so you need to monitor your priorities and make sure that you are giving them, the attention that they deserve. And always, and cutting and trimming and adding and all of that. It's a process. Let's see. So if I can rewind and think about what we've done this year. We started out in January of last year with a trip to Destin, Florida, and it was my first time, and it was lovely. I think that another thing that I learned about friendship that was validated, I think, in January, was that people that we made friends with and sort of made decisions about staying friends with, that decision was validated in January. We got to spend time with friends that we hadn't seen in a couple of years, and you always kind of oh, you don't know how it's gonna turn out, or if everything will kind of vibe the same way that it used to, but it really did. You know, in the beginning of our marriage, we made a lot of decisions about who we would invest in and who we wouldn't as friendships went. And a lot of those decisions are validated, I think, a lot this year, more so than any other year, that the people that we chose to stay close to are people who love us and value us and will continue to do so, I think, for a long time ahead. And I think that it was so good to see that because, as I had said earlier, there was a learning process that I went through this year about being friends with every person I crossed paths with, every nice person. And I think that it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago that I started to go on this journey of learning that lesson, because I met people that were nice, but you know, you just kind of have hesitation about diving in. But to me, I still felt guilty for not investing in it. Did I make a mistake? Did I make a bad call? Did I hurt their feelings? Did I ruin other friendships because I didn't make those friendships? And seeing our friends in January of last year just reminded me that, you know, we made the best decision that we could, and I feel like those decisions were good decisions. February we had, I don't think we really, we probably traveled for Davia's birthday, Justin's little sister. She is our youngest sibling, and she turned, oh goodness, do I even remember? I think she turned 19, but either way, we're really proud of her and her husband, that they are the adults who they are, and they're accomplishing what they're accomplishing. And I'm tearing up, but I really couldn't be prouder of all of my siblings, and that includes Justin's. I have 2 sisters and a brother on my side, and Justin has 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And for the most part, everything that they're doing with their lives is so great to see them investing in opportunities and to see the effect that they're having on their families and the person that they've chosen to be with, their partners. It's just a really beautiful thing to see your siblings grow up and make good choices. And it's not perfect. It doesn't happen every time, but I think as I've gotten older, you don't really know how the chips will fall for your siblings, especially when I think at the turn of 18, a lot of us made bad decisions, including myself. But to see them now where they are, it just really makes my heart swell with pride. And then in March and April, we always travel for Easter. We go home to Justin's family in Tennessee, and we go to church at his grandfather's church. And I think it just is such a reminiscent time, because that was the first time that he invited me to meet his family. We started dating in April. And we started speaking in March, and we went on our first date in April of 2011. And in 2 weeks' time, we went and met his family on Easter of that year. And Easter is really important to my dad. It's such a beautiful time for him to see the way that his faith is built, demonstrated out in the Easter story. And for me to have met my husband's family during that time, it makes it so special to me to think about how welcoming they were that first time, and how sweet Justin was that first time to bring me there. It's just, and for me also, it's a beautiful time to just the Easter story, the way I was talking about it with my dad. It's just the way that my faith is built, and just to see that story of the basis of our faith is just a beautiful time. And then in May, we may have traveled for Memorial Day. I don't really recall. We usually do, I think usually to Myrtle Beach to see his little sister, but I don't really recall what we did this year, but I'm sure that we had a great time. And then in July, we went on family vacation, and this year was a really hard year. My family went to Treasure Island in Florida, and my sister had planned family pictures, and I think a fault of my family is wanting to make things look perfect all the time, and I felt that pressure a lot. And I feel that pressure a lot of times just when we visit my family, that to show them like how good me and Justin are doing. But the problem was that this year we weren't really doing good. He stayed with his sister. We had both pretty much decided that we were probably going to end our marriage. But I think that I never wanted to give up. I think that the story that God told me when we were dating, and the person that Justin showed himself to me when we were dating, is someone that I fully believed was supposed to be my spouse for the rest of my life. And we have definitely come on difficult times of being able to believe that and participate in that story. And this summer was one of those times. And so I was with my family by myself. And I didn't even think about wearing glasses and how much reflective it is, but I hope that's not distracting. It's probably just helping cover up the fact that I'm tearing up. So I spent that time with my parents and my family alone, and Justin spent that time with his family alone. And we fought over the phone several times. And at the end of that week, he did decide that he wanted to be with me. But that was still a rough patch, because I think that by the end of that week, I had given up. And so it was just this like ebb and flow that really wasn't matching up for us. But I am still married right now, and we're doing really, I think, better than ever. I think that our trust that we have with each other is really high right now. And I think the level of happiness that we feel just being together and making choices together is really high right now. And I think that fears do arise every once in a while, but I think that we're in a really good place now. But that's not to say that we won't be in a bad place again. And I think that situation just taught me that, like, the humility of and the pride, the dangers of pride in your marriage, that at any time you can lose what you think you have. I'm really fortunate that me and Justin's marriage did turn out for the better, and that we've been able to both seek therapy and both seek help and encouragement through other people, and been able to listen to the other person and try to make ourselves better for the sake of the unity. But all that was really hard. I really don't know. I feel like I almost am still grieving from that process. And, you know, I think that it will be a long time before I have fully moved on from how tough that situation was in July. And then we come into the fall, and I think we had all these plans of visiting and doing all these things, and I think we ended up canceling quite a bit of them because we were on such shaky ground with each other, and I wasn't willing to compromise anything for anyone, to bring our relationship around anyone. And so I don't think that we really traveled in August. And was that, I can't remember if that was this year. No, it was last year. Last year in August and September, our dear friend's mom passed away, and we were, I was in a wedding. And it was the wedding ended up being, I think, the same weekend as the funeral, but I think that was last year. So this year was the anniversary of that, and so we grieved with some and we celebrated with some, and I think that's how it is, you know. So our friends grieved the anniversary of his mother's passing, and our other friends celebrated their first year of marriage. But I really, like I said, I don't think we did a lot of traveling. October, we decided to travel for Halloween. We usually try to do something exciting with our friends or our family in October, you know, around kind of like the haunted stuff that gets celebrated in that month. So we decided to do Ghost Train at Tweetsie Railroad in Boone, and we had a lot of fun. We went with a small group of our family and some friends, and we had a really good time. and we spent the weekend with his grandparents. And I think we've been so fortunate in the way, part of what I was talking about earlier about like making sure that your priorities are right and making sure that you're investing in the right people at the right time. I think that his grandparents are a good example of that, that we definitely decided to invest in them more than we had in years past. And we were so fortunate to do that because we did lose one of his grandparents this holiday season in December. And I just think about all the visits that we've had in the past year, maybe even more than a year, and to think how good they were, that we would basically go there, stay put, just sit there and talk with them and just stay in their home and spend time with them there on their property and with their daily errands and stuff, and how that is a treasure that nobody can take from me or Justin, that time that we had. And I'm so grateful that we made the choice that we did, even though it was a hard one. It was definitely the right one. And November came and our anniversary came. We didn't celebrate the way that we normally do, but we did take a weekend away, and we went to West Virginia, and we had a really nice weekend. We went to the movies, we went hiking, we were staying in this little kind of cabin. It was really great, and I definitely want to go back. I think that we've really started to learn this year how much we and our dogs enjoy hiking together, and how we really do, no matter kind of the state of our health or exercise regimen, we can pretty much hike around 5 miles together at a steady pace without getting overly tired or being overly sore the next day. And I think our dogs are the same way, even though they're getting up there in age as well. So that was really exciting to be able to go to a new part of West Virginia and explore some of that. And we also, and so then we celebrated Thanksgiving. We were planning on celebrating it here with our friends, as we have for the past couple of years. But since we had not gone to Tennessee for our anniversary, we decided, since his grandmother was doing so poorly, we decided to travel to Thanksgiving with them and spend like a holiday with them, because we already had plans to spend Christmas with my family and I wasn't willing to change them. So so we went to Tennessee for Thanksgiving and had a really nice time. And like I said, it's just another one of those moments that I'm so thankful that we made time for this year. I think we were really glad that Justin's mom actually ended up getting in an accident on the way to Thanksgiving, and we're so thankful that she was okay and that the other driver was okay, even if our Thanksgiving ham wasn't. And the deviled eggs that year were definitely interesting. So we did that, and we had a great time. And then December came around, and we decided to travel again to see his grandmother as soon as we could, because we were really afraid that we would lose her during the holidays when we couldn't really come right away. So we visited her over the 15th. I feel like we did so much in December, and I feel like it gets me every year. Like by like October, we decide to travel for Halloween, and then we get through November, and we've traveled. By the end of the year, we have traveled like every weekend, and somehow we don't know how that happened, and we feel so overwhelmed and tired of traveling, but at the same time, we're so full of love for everybody that we chose to spend time with. So it's just this like catch-22 of like, do we travel and feel like rested and at home, or do we not, well, I don't know which way I said it, but do we not travel and feel rested, or do we travel and feel loved? And it's just this thing that we go through like every year. And so we traveled a lot in December and got to see friends and got to do adventures. And then we, over the 15th, we spent another weekend with Justin's grandmother, and things really started to go downhill for her at that point, but she still health-wise, I think, was doing okay, just maybe not mentally. I got to see, I had lots of conversations with people this year about end-of-life care, and how in some families it just works and in some families it just doesn't, and how in my family, where it has been our privilege for it to work well, it's really easy to see how not everyone can do it. And I just, thoughts like that just ran through my head a lot when we spent time with his family. And I know in every situation, people try their best to do their best. But sometimes it just doesn't cover all the holes of the needs that person has. And that's sad. And if you're going through something like that, I just want you to know that my heart goes out to you and your family for the situation that you're in, because it's definitely not one that's foreign to me and Justin. We got through November, and Justin had the thought that we have lost someone in November 3 years in a row. And so it would be really hard to lose her at that time, but she did hold on for another month. So Christmas got here, and we made all these plans, and I was so fortunate. I had a part-time job this year that enabled us to just really have a lot of freedom when we traveled, and just not stress at all financially. So we were able to go visit our friends where we used to live in South Carolina. We were able to visit friends in Georgia that moved from Maryland. We were able to visit my family and fly Justin home to work and then come back. We were able to go to the funeral in Tennessee. While on the way there, I visited a friend in South Carolina and our cousin in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then after we helped the family get some stuff done, we went to Myrtle Beach to see Davia and Matt, Justin's little sister and her husband, and Justin's stepmom, who got such an exciting opportunity this year to fulfill her dream of living in Key West. And so we got to see her off on that adventure and be a part of Matt and Davia's new adventure of living on their own as a married couple. How adult. So it's just been a really exciting year, and I'm so grateful for the things I have learned and the opportunities and adventures I've had. And I am just really looking forward to what I am going to learn as a 29-year-old in 2018. You know, I think, and then I guess the other lesson that we kind of learned is, like, we had seen in the past that basically every year we're together, we do something a little bit better financially. And so because the first year we were together, it was terrible. Like, I was terrible with money. He had been pretty good with money, and I kind of ruined it. And then, the second year we were together, I don't really know what all the milestones we've hit, but basically every year we were making a small step to improving. And so this year our goal was to really buckle down and get some savings. And we didn't end up really doing that, but we did pay off a credit card. And so we're one step closer to financial peace, if you can kind of read between the lines of what we of the steps that we were following. And we haven't actually finished the book, which is awful, but we're definitely in the process of following the steps that Dave Ramsey sets out, and they've been really, really helpful to us. And I really can't say that it's the answer for everybody, but if you're looking for a Christian-based place to start to have peace of mind when it comes to your money, I would definitely start there. So I'm really proud of us that we paid off a credit card and that we can go into 2018 with my student debt and one credit card, and then our house and our car as being kind of debts in our name. I think that by the end of 2018, we will have another credit card paid off, as well as my student loans. And I think we want to focus on paying off the car, because we really aren't as happy with it as we thought we would, but we don't want to lose money turning it in at a dealership and trading it in for another vehicle. So I think that a lot of our extra cash is going to go towards the car to pay it off quicker. So, and I'm just really proud of us for that. You know, I think especially for myself, I gave up a lot this year when it came to shopping. Okay, so I don't have much time to film because my phone is running out of memory. Which I kind of promised myself that I would never be one of the YouTubers that said that, but here we are. My phone is full, and that is the camera that I am using, and I don't really plan to upgrade any type of cameras. I probably, as my channel has more videos, I hope to fine-tune my settings a little bit more so that the quality is higher, but I'm really happy with the phones that we have on the market today, and I don't feel like it's an investment that I need to make to have a camera that costs me hundreds of dollars. So, it won't cost me hundreds of dollars, so there we are. But I was talking about the lesson that I learned this year about money, that we paid off a credit card, and I also sat down kind of with myself and admitted that my shopping was a problem, and that the way that I shop and the reason I shop is wrong, and just kind of confronting myself about that. And I can't say that I'm cured or that I'm even moderately better about it, but I am glad that I admitted that to myself, and I can kind of approach myself about it mentally in the future, and as I grow, that I can deal with shopping in a healthier way and deal with my emotions in a healthier way versus shopping. So I think I did a no-buy in like May and maybe June, and then I did a no-buy again in August, and those felt really good. It was sort of a loose version of no-buy, because I think no-buy is sort of your own version, but I didn't buy, I think, makeup and clothes in those months. That was a really good feeling and a really good milestone for me personally, who, as a 28-year-old at the time, had dealt with emotions with shopping for a very long time in an unhealthy way. So I'm really thankful for all the lessons that I learned, and I'm looking forward to the ones that I am going to learn this year. And I would love for anybody in the comments to share any thoughts that they have, or any journeys that you're on, and anything that you've learned in the last year. I think it's especially fun during the New Year time frame, but also personally me, for my birthday, to reflect on where I was and where I am and where I'm going. And I'm a very type A person who's very listy and has resolutions and stuff like that. So if you're that kind of person, yay. If you aren't that kind of person, yay. I think the other thing I've probably learned this year is just how different people are, and how different types of people can be successful, and that's okay, So I think I want to celebrate everybody and your successes and the lessons you've learned from your failures, and any thoughts that you have that you want to share with me. And thank you so much for watching, and welcome to Meet Miss Robinson's YouTube channel. But I'm excited to get to know you guys. Bye.